So we open on our boy standing on a cliff overlooking this huge, fancy castle. He is leaving it all behind with his companions, ready to start a new, better life. We flash back 10 years to the Albesta Kingdom, home of the prestigious Mastalog mage family. His father is absolutely furious, yelling at a tiny Ask for being a failure to the family name. This brother, with a punchable grin, chimes in that it is impossible for poor Ask. This kid is just twisting the knife, explaining how literally everyone has at least a little magic. With these dead, soulless eyes, little Ask admits he's got no magic but swears he will try harder. Dad's not buying it for a second, asking what exactly he plans on trying harder at. Our boy's big pitch is that while magic is a no-go, he is super strong and can lift rocks. For this brilliant idea, Ask gets a smack from his brother, who points out magic makes that irrelevant. That one comment just shatters him, the realization hitting hard. This brother doubles down, calling him a total airhead while their dad just stews in the background. You can see the pure, unfiltered disappointment in the father's eyes. He has had enough, slamming his hand down on the table with a loud thud. This sudden noise makes both kids jump, completely startled by the outburst. Looming over them like a monster, his face is completely obscured by shadows. With a tightly clenched fist, you can feel the violence about to erupt. His only words to Ask are a threat: "Do not you dare disappoint me." And then he just straight up punches his own kid, a literal child. Our boy is left a crying mess on the floor because that is just peak parenting. Instead of flinching, Ask takes the punch with this terrifying, wide-eyed smile, ready to accept anything. This father just walks off, leaving one son on the floor and the other one just standing there. He glances back, absolutely disgusted, asking why Ask looks so damn calm after all that. Our boy is just completely baffled by the question because what part of that was calm? Without another word, his dad turns his back on him in a moment of total rejection. This guy's still muttering about Ask's lack of magic because that is literally all he cares about. So Ask decides the best strategy is to act like a possessed doll, which is definitely a normal response. He even waves and promises to be like a human now, freaking out his brother and dad. This just makes his father snap, yelling at Ask and questioning if he is even human to begin with. With that same horrifying grin, Ask begs his dad to teach him more, to give him more attention. This father just stares, probably processing how thoroughly he has broken his own child. Ask keeps pleading to be taught tons of magic, completely missing the point as usual. You can see the exact moment his dad's last nerve completely and utterly disintegrates. This old man has officially hit his limit, declaring he is completely done dealing with this. His solution is to exile Ask to a separate villa, forbidding him from returning without permission. And the kid just stands there alone, thinking he just needs to be better so he will not make dad angry again. He is convinced that if he just follows the rules, he will be allowed to come back home eventually. Peeking out the window, he has still got that hopeful, deeply unsettling smile on his face. We see the villa where he was sent, as his future self admits he did not understand what was happening, and with that a whole year passes while he is stuck in total isolation. With a soft thud, he closes the last book, having officially run out of things to do. Our boy just sits there, wide-eyed, realizing he has devoured every single text in the villa. He spent the whole year lifting rocks, but his magic level stubbornly remained at absolute zero. His brother only visited once, his dad never came, and his mom is just locked away in despair. And he starts to wonder what the actual point of trying to get their approval even is. Just then, a book clatters off a high shelf, breaking the depressing silence. Staring up at the shelves, he questions why he is so desperate for his family to notice him. But then again, it is not like he has a packed social calendar to get back to. His gaze snaps over to the fallen book with a flicker of sudden interest, and it hits him, wait a second, he has never actually seen this one before. So with those same hollow eyes, he cracks it open, probably expecting more of the same, except the pages are filled with some kind of ancient, bizarre script he cannot recognize. For some reason, he cannot look away. It is like the words are calling out to him. A weird feeling washes over him, a jolt of something totally new and unfamiliar. And as his hand gets closer, the entire book erupts in a blinding white light. A voice echoes out, calling for someone who wishes to form a pact through sorrow. Suddenly, he is standing in a blank white void, completely baffled about where he is. Then a shadow falls over his feet, signaling he is definitely not alone anymore. This world shifts around him into a strange grotto filled with glowing crystals and plants. And a massive dragon-like bird appears, admitting it never thought anyone would actually answer its call. A woman with some serious queen energy appears, calling this whole thing fate. Then a turtle thing with a magnificent mustache calls it a miracle, looking way too pleased. A little fairy girl pops in too, super excited that everyone got the memo to show up. Suddenly, all three are swooping down towards Ask, who is just standing there like, "What is my life?" This giant dragon is joined by the Turtle King, and it is officially a full-blown spirit world welcoming committee. This dragon formally introduces himself as Salamander, the Fire Spirit King, welcoming Ask to their realm. Our mustachioed turtle friend, known the Earth Spirit King, tells him to chill out, they are not enemies. This Water Spirit Queen, Undine, clarifies that this is, in fact, the spirit world. And the Wind Spirit, Sylph, cheerfully confirms they are the four legendary Spirit Kings, no big deal. Ask is just trying to process this, remembering spirits from books and wondering what a vessel is. This lore drop explains that spirits are basically nature's magic given consciousness from another dimension. An ancient-looking diagram reveals these four are the top dogs of the spirit world. Salamander asks for his name, and our boy introduces himself as Ask Mastalog. This dragon explains that touching the book was the entry ticket, and only the worthy get an invite. He then drops the bombshell that Ask has the talent to be a spirit user and a vessel. A spirit user, as it turns out, is a special mage who makes pacts to borrow spirit power. Salamander adds that they have been waiting thousands of years for someone like him, a total prodigy. Our boy, probably for the first time ever, accepts praise and says it is an honor to meet them. Gnome the Turtle King looks on, maybe a little misty-eyed at this whole wholesome exchange. This dragon seems surprised Ask is taking this so well, but the kid has a question first. Undine asks what he desires with their power, but Ask just blankly admits he has no dreams or goals. This answer gets a collective silent from the Spirit Kings, who were clearly expecting more. Salamander quickly jumps in, reassuring him that it is okay to be confused since this is all so sudden. To check his aptitude, the dragon tells him to hold up his right hand, which Ask does with a questioning look. Undine explains they need to see which of the 4 elements he is compatible with and also get a read on his life so far. This second he raises his hand, it erupts in a blinding, pure white light. All 4 spirits are just completely floored, staring with wide-eyed disbelief at the display. Gnome and Sylph are practically vibrating with excitement, screaming that he is compatible with every single element. While Undine pats his head and calls him a wonderful child, she notices something off. His magic is 0. A vision of his past flashes before them, showing the cold, utter rejection from his family. Salamander then asks the exact same question his dad did. How can he be so calm after all that? That question just completely stops Ask in his tracks, hitting him way harder than he expected. This spirit see more of his past, wondering why he is not filled with sadness or resentment after such treatment. Our boy just quietly states that his family gave up on him a long time ago. He is completely convinced it is all his fault for being useless and having 0 magic power. But Sylph and Gnome immediately correct him, saying it is not a flaw but a unique constitution he was born with. A single tear starts to form in his eye, the first crack in that empty facade he has been wearing. Clutching his chest, he realizes this is the first time anyone's ever told him he is not bad, hoping this will finally impress his dad. Salamander just stares down at him, his expression turning incredibly serious, and Ask's face contorts into a desperate, unhinged look, because surely he does not actually believe that will work. Salamander stares him down, observing that Ask's emotions are completely missing. He is just empty inside. Our boy just repeats the word empty, listing off joy, anger, and sadness like they are items on a grocery list. This spirit see the truth. He is basically a puppet who lost his feelings at birth, just mimicking human behavior. A flashback shows him copying his brother's creepy smile, finally realizing he has been an imposter his whole life. And Salamander's reptilian eye narrows, seeing the kid finally connect the dots on his own messed up psyche. But the dragon flips the script, suggesting this very emptiness might be the source of his true power, making Ask stare at his hands as a faint light appears, questioning if this is really his strength. This other spirits pop in, totally hyped that his unique nature is why he could summon all 4 of them at once. He is still stuck on the whole I am a doll thing, completely rejecting the idea of being special. So they make their big pitch, form a pact, and they will help him get his emotions back. He is a miraculous vessel. Stunned, Ask looks up at the offer to regain the feelings he never even knew he lost, while Sylph gives him a cheerful wink, explaining that as spirits, they are basically made of the world's raw nature. Gnome adds that they embody all of existence's principles, which of course includes human emotions, and Undine clarifies that their magic is literally infused with the feelings he is missing. Salamander lays it all out. A contract with them means he gets his emotions back in their power, which just floors our boy, who asks if it is okay for him to receive so much after being called useless forever. Undine gently reassures him, saying they have been waiting thousands of years for a vessel just like him, while Sylph gets right in his face, explaining they want to feel the world through him, not just observe it. This 2 big guys, Salamander and Gnome, lean in and ask him to be their eyes and ears in the human realm, leaving Ask with his face shadowed to ask the one question that matters: can he actually change? Salamander immediately shuts that down, telling him this is not about changing but finally moving forward. This 4 spirits basically give him a crash course in human emotions. 101, be angry, be happy, just feel asterisk something. And something in Ask's eyes just clicks, the gears finally starting to turn. Clutching his chest, he finally understands that this is what everyone else has been feeling all along. With that settled, Salamander makes it official, declaring Ask is now their one and only contractor. This others chime in, telling him he is a one-of-a-kind being who should finally live for himself. Our boy just bows his head and accepts, totally ready for this insane new chapter in his life. It is a total reset, goodbye to the empty life he knew and hello to whatever comes next. Back in the real world, years have passed at that same lonely villa. A much older Ask is relentlessly training with a sword, counting out nearly 1,000 swings. A butler suddenly interrupts his training. His father has summoned him, which is a total shock. Looking up at the sky, he thinks the moment he has been waiting for has finally arrived. He finishes his 1,000th swing just as the summons comes, ready to face his family again. With a simple yes, he agrees to go see the man who exiled him years ago. In the office, his brother is already present, and his dad gives him the same old, cold, dismissive look. His brother's first brilliant observation is that Ask has not changed at all, and he does not mean it as a compliment. Ask just takes the insult in stride, not giving them any reaction whatsoever. His father finally addresses him, stating the obvious fact that he has now come of age. Then he gets right to the point, calling Ask a massive stain on the Mastolog name and an insult to their ancestors. And the final verdict is in: he is being officially disowned and exiled, leaving Ask to desperately plead with him. This father looks back, asking what he wants with a face that just screams, "Get out." Ask desperately tries to bargain, saying if he passes the upcoming Magic Academy exam, maybe they can reconsider this whole disowning thing. But the dad just scoffs from across the room, asking what a magicless failure could possibly accomplish at a magic academy. With a sneer, the man just calls the entire effort a complete and utter waste of time. Our boy just has to stand there and take it, the rejection stinging yet again. With his back turned, the dad basically says if Ask is satisfied with that, then fine, whatever. A dismissive wave of the hand follows as he declares the result will be the same anyway. With his spirit squad cheering him on internally, Ask just calmly agrees to his father's terms. A confident smile spreads across his face as he declares this is his 10-year revenge plan and he is going to succeed. So we cut to the Royal Academy, looking all prestigious and ready for the entrance exams. Yep, the banners are up, it is officially exam day, the first step of his master plan. Inside, Ask is absolutely crushing the written portion of the exam, his pen practically a blur. Just as the proctor calls time, his pen stops dead, written test complete. With that done, he mentally prepares for the next phase, the physical examination. His spirit cheer squad materializes, with Undine asking if he reviewed properly and Salamander scoffing that academics are no problem for him. As Sylph zips around, he remembers that spirits are invisible to anyone who is not a contractor, so he is not looking crazy. Probably. Up in the stands, a couple of girls are chatting, noting that the exam is basically flooded with the children of nobles. Their logic is simple: nobles have higher magic potential, so naturally they will make up most of the passing students. And speaking of magic potential, the next test involves a big all-magic measuring crystal orb. This proctor explains the simple rules: touch the orb and the intensity of its light will measure your innate magic power. This proctor calls out, "Next," looking completely bored and ready to process another noble kid. But his eyes practically bug out when he reads the name on his clipboard. He announces Ask Mastolog, and the entire room erupts in whispers about the family's rumored failure. Our boy places his hand on the orb, which does absolutely nothing, staying completely dead. A hooded examiner leans over, genuinely asking if their priceless magic artifact is just broken. Ask just calmly informs him that no, he simply does not have any magic power. This statement completely short-circuits the proctor's brain, who just stares in utter confusion. This other noble brats immediately start laughing their heads off, calling him a total disgrace. While the examiners try to get the jeering crowd under control, the mockery just gets louder. Amidst the chaos, Ask feels a strange new sensation bubbling up from within. Clutching his chest, he is not sure what this feeling is, but he is definitely excited for the next test. And so we move to the practical exam, held in a massive, sprawling forest. A bright light flashes as an announcement tells all the students the test is officially beginning. One of the other examinees, a girl with a high ponytail, walks confidently through the trees, while elsewhere a smug-looking guy smirks, just radiating "I am better than you" energy. Ask, however, just pulls out a pocket watch, his expression completely focused on the task. A voice then drops the rules for this phase. It is a no-holds-barred battle royale. Each student has a magic tool, and if its power runs out, they are instantly disqualified. A helpful diagram explains you get points by taking out other students, Hunger Games style. Our boy just listens to the rules, a hint of a smile playing on his lips as he understands the game. Sylph pops up, suggesting they just wipe the floor with everyone since they are invisible. But Ask immediately shuts that down, saying it would completely defeat the purpose of the exam. His pocket watch ticks ominously, a stark reminder that time is already running out. With the test officially underway, he decides his first move is to scout the area. Suddenly, a blur of movement zips past him through the trees, and he is immediately spotted by a group of nobles who think he is just talking to himself. Their leader smirks, calling him the magicless Mastolog failure and basically saying he has lost his mind. One of the girls in the group looks genuinely confused about why they are all ganging up on him. It turns out she is part of the posse, as they have now completely surrounded our boy. She then justifies it, saying teaming up is not against the rules, which Ask calmly acknowledges. His eyes narrow as he realizes that forming an alliance is actually the most rational play here. This smug leader then sneers that unlike a useless loner, they are all good friends, a real heartwarming moment. With that, the whole group starts chanting, a massive magic circle glowing at their feet. He declares it is their lucky day to have found such an easy target first. Even the girl with the ponytail is in on it, holding up her own glowing magic disc. Another kid joins in, making it clear this is a coordinated magical assault. This bully gloats that taking out the magicless fool will get them all closer to passing. Ask just stands there, his expression hardening into a tight, unreadable line. They unleash their combined attack, a massive wave of energy, yelling that it is a race to the finish. This spell hits with explosive force, engulfing the entire area in a cloud of dust and smoke. This smug leader celebrates way too early, already asking who gets the points for the kill. But his victory grin just shatters into pure, unadulterated shock. because Ask is standing there, completely unharmed, with their spell swirling around him like a pet tornado. His little posse immediately starts pointing fingers, all screaming that it was not their magic, and the lead bully realizes that this swirling vortex is something he has never seen before. Our boy just reaches out and casually grabs their ultimate attack right out of the air, leaving him holding a ball of pure magical chaos with the most bored expression ever. He looks down at the spell, basically asking if this pathetic little light show was their best shot, which sends the bully into a full-blown meltdown, screaming about what that is supposed to mean. His friends are also losing it, yelling that it is impossible for a magicless nobody to do this. With his face cast in shadow, Ask's patience has officially run out. And he clenches his fist, realizing these guys see him as just as worthless as his family did. A quick flashback shows his parents and brother abandoning him, same old story, different day. Salamander's voice chimes in, giving him a name for this new feeling, pure, unfiltered rage. Ask's face twists as he finally puts a word to the fire in his chest. This is anger. With a vicious grin, Salamander basically tells him to let loose and show them what is up. This captured energy in his hand begins to crackle and destabilize, ready to blow, and he roars, promising to show them the true power of the Spirit Kings. Then he just swings his arm, launching their own attack right back in their faces. This bully's face is a perfect picture of "I have made a huge mistake" as the spell closes in. This bully gets a face full of his own redirected spell, sending him flying back in a glorious arc. Ask's eye is cold and focused, the rage now channeled into pure, terrifying intent. With a wisp of dark energy on his hand, he casually declares that his one down very efficient. His former posse is now just a screaming, panicking mess as their leader lies defeated on the ground. As the remaining three turn tail and run, Ask just points, thinking this is the perfect number for a warm-up. He tells Gnome it is time to test out all the elemental attributes on these conveniently fleeing targets. In a flash, our boy closes the distance between them, moving way faster than they can react. This ground suddenly erupts beneath the nobles, tripping them up mid-sprint courtesy of Gnome. A blur of motion shows something shooting up from the earth with incredible speed. And just like that, the girl is caught in an earth prison, marking the second one out of the game. Sylph just watches on with those big, innocent eyes as if this is all perfectly normal afternoon fun. This last two guys are losing their minds, realizing he is using spirit arts without a magic circle. One of them screams that it is impossible, you need magic to even make a spirit contract. A voice from nowhere chimes in, basically saying you are right, but Undine explains that the Spirit Kings do not need his magic, just his body as a handy proxy. His spirit squad playfully mauls him while explaining they pull power from nature and only Ask can handle it. Down to the last two, the bullies are now begging for their lives, admitting they were totally in the wrong. Ask just holds up one of their magic tools, the little orb glowing ominously in his hand. Then he simply crushes it, showing just how little their power means to him. A massive tornado is unleashed, courtesy of Sylph, to finish off the last of the trash. And the last of the bullies gets pancaked by a giant slime, a fitting end really. With the trash taken out, Ask monologues that they were not fighting him, but nature itself, the one thing humans should fear. One of the last conscious bullies looks up at Gnome's four-eyed stare, having no clue what he is even looking at. But this is far from over because he knows there are still plenty of jerks just like his father out there. Another quick flashback shows the condescending faces of his family, a constant source of motivation, which he channels into a massive surge of power, ready to prove every single one of them wrong. With a look of pure, unhinged focus, he basically promises everyone who ever doubted him, just you wait. And with the exam officially over, we cut to a shot of the city, time to see the results. 1 week later, it is time for the results to be posted. The moment of truth has arrived. This dad is absolutely ecstatic, screaming that Ask passed as the top student, a feat no one in their family ever managed. He then bursts into a room, calling out for Ask, presumably to give him a pat on the back for the first time in a decade. Ask is right there, but he is giving his old man the silent treatment, completely ignoring him, until his dad spots a letter left on the desk, a very ominous-looking letter. It is the ultimate mic drop. Passed, but the academy's boring, so I am not going. Go ahead and disown me now, thanks for nothing. His father's face just contorts into pure, unadulterated rage. He has been completely played. All he can do is scream Ask's name into the empty room, the realization finally sinking in. Meanwhile, Ask is just chilling on a cliff with his spirit squad, commenting on the lovely weather, not a care in the world. Undine laments him throwing away the top spot, while Salamander is actually crying about the friends he could have made. Looking back at the distant estate, he confirms this was his 10-year revenge and that his real family was never them, but the ones who saved him from his loneliness, the Spirit Kings themselves. He looks at his new family, telling them he wants to see the world together with them, which completely floors Gnome and Salamander, who ask if he is really doing this for them. Undine is equally moved, wondering if this whole journey is truly for their sake, while Sylph is just a ball of pure, sparkling joy, totally hyped for their new adventure. For the first time, Ask gives a genuine, heartfelt smile. He has finally found his place. And with that, Team Ask and the Spirit Kings charge forward, ready to take on the world. Their first stop is a new town, where they immediately spot the local Adventurers Guild. Inside, Ask gets straight to business, telling the receptionist he is here to register. He declares this is the first step of his new life as an adventurer, no looking back now. But of course the first step is another one of these magic measuring orbs. Deja vu anyone? Ask's face just screams, "You have got to be kidding me," as this is getting really old. He puts his hand on it and surprise surprise, nothing happens, making the receptionist wonder if it is broken. Immediately the entire guild erupts in laughter, mocking the new guy for having zero magic. This receptionist, however, just smiles and explains how they will rank him based on his abilities, which for a magicless person means starting at the bottom F rank, though some can start higher. Ask does not care, deciding becoming an adventurer is just a way to make money anyway. So he heads over to the quest board, ready to pick out his first official job. But it turns out all the F-rank quests require a party of 2 or more, no solos allowed. His spirit squad immediately panics, realizing he cannot actually accept any of these jobs alone. Ask, however, just points to one particular notice, a small smirk suggesting he has found a loophole. Ask zeroes in on one specific quest notice, a super old one that is clearly the exception. Just then, a bald dude with a giant sword and his 2 buddies decide to introduce themselves. This guy mockingly thanks Ask for the laugh since he cannot take any quests by himself. He then generously offers our boy a spot in their party and Ask starts to accept, but the guy's smile is pure predator and you just know this is a total setup. Ask's eyes go wide as the friendly offer suddenly feels a whole lot like a trap. Cut to the forest, where their little team-building exercise is now officially underway. This 2 goons comment on a girl in a cloak who is apparently stronger than she looks. It turns out Ask has been relegated to pack mule duty, and the girl asks for his name. She introduces herself as Ellen, quickly adding that it is a fake name, not suspicious at all. One of the thugs tells Ask to just stick to being luggage boy and not bother her. This bearded adventurer is completely baffled by Ellen's sudden defensive attitude. She calls out the bald leader for being a swordsman who makes the new guy carry his weapon. Their little squabble is interrupted by monsters, and the leader yells to take them out fast. A pack of snarling demonic wolves burst from the trees, ready to tear them apart. This bald leader yanks his massive sword off Ask's back, finally ready to do his own work. Their archer immediately draws an arrow, taking aim at the incoming threat. Meanwhile, the bearded brawler equips a mean-looking set of spiked knuckles. This leader explains that adventurers without magic can still fight by enhancing their bodies and gear, and his buddy demonstrates by punching a wolf while another party member provides arrow support. Ask just reminds himself that without any magic, he cannot use their standard fighting techniques. After a long day of being their personal pack animal, the party finally returns to town. And for all his trouble, he gets a grand total of 2 coins, truly a king's ransom. He just stares down at the pathetic payment, his expression completely dead inside. This bald leader mocks him, saying that is more than enough for a useless piece of trash. His spirit squad is absolutely furious, complaining the pay will not even cover 2 drinks. Ask realizes that whether they are nobles or adventurers, they are all the same kind of garbage. So he marches right back to the quest board, clearly looking for something specific. With a devious little smile, he and his spirits decide it is time for some well-deserved revenge. A single thought echoes in his mind as he makes his choice. He is dead serious. Back in the woods, the leader is already complaining about his hangover from the night before. His buddies join in, yelling at luggage boy Ask to hurry up and stop lagging behind. Suddenly, something absolutely massive begins to push its way up from beneath the forest floor, and the ground itself cracks open with a scaly pattern under some incredible pressure. Both the leader and Ellen are completely shocked, wondering what the hell is causing this tremor. This entire party just freezes in place as the world around them shakes violently. A colossal, multi-eyed serpent erupts from the earth, letting out a world-shaking roar. Immediately, the leader starts screaming his head off, recognizing it as the Lord of the Forest. His bearded buddy freaks out, asking how he did not know this thing was here while Ask just watches. Turns out this is a disaster-class monster with regeneration so broken that nobody's ever been able to kill it. Gnome peeks out from behind a tree, getting a front-row seat to the absolute chaos he helped create. This leader and his buddy are having a full-blown meltdown, screaming that they are all completely finished. Amidst the screaming, Ask is the picture of calm, as if this was all part of the plan, which it was. His party members finally notice he is not panicking, demanding to know what he is even doing. With a completely deadpan expression, he gives them the most obvious answer in the world. He is going to fight it, a declaration that leaves even the stoic Ellen completely floored. This serpent's giant eye reflects a single, tiny human charging forward with zero hesitation, and he just sprints head-on towards the monster, ready to take on the supposedly unkillable beast. Ask internally confirms the plan worked, knowing the monster was drawn out by the bait's power. He then tells his spirits to hold back, making it clear he is handling this one personally. His sword slams into the earth, kicking up a massive cloud of dirt and rock. Using the shockwave to launch himself airborne directly towards the serpent's head. With a look of intense concentration, he zeroes in on his target mid-flight. In a flash of steel, he lands a brutal slash right across the monster's face. His former party is just staring, jaws on the floor, because a guy with zero magic just did that. As the monster recoils in pain, its massive body sends the useless adventurers flying like bowling pins. Ask, meanwhile, lands gracefully on the beast's writhing body, totally unfazed by the chaos. Ellen looks over to find Gnome clinging to her for dear life, complaining about a sudden fear of heights. But just as quickly as the wound appeared, it starts bubbling and healing over. That regeneration is no joke. Ask holds the little spirit, apologizes for the bumpy ride, and promises to end this quickly. Ask declares this sword, forged by Gnome's power, is all he needs to finish the job. This serpent roars in agony, clearly not a fan of the new scar across its face. Unfazed, Ask calmly states that even a monster's regeneration has its limits. He then launches himself off the beast's back, using its own body as a springboard. Our boy just starts carving into the massive scales, relentless in his assault. His eyes are narrowed with intense focus, not a single wasted motion in his attack. But that legendary regeneration kicks in, the deep gashes bubbling and sealing over. He watches the flesh knit itself back together, confirming just how broken this thing is. With a determined glint, Ask realizes he just needs a slightly different approach. If one sword is not enough to outpace the healing, then two will have to do the trick. This new strategy is simple: attack faster and cut deeper than it can possibly recover. So he unleashes an absolute whirlwind of steel, a non-stop barrage of slashes. As the massive serpent finally begins to fall, he moves in for the kill. Meanwhile, the bald leader is still getting flung through the air like a human frisbee. Ask lands a final decisive blow, driving his blade deep into the monster's hide. Ellen can only stare in utter disbelief, completely stunned by what she just witnessed. Standing victoriously on the corpse, Ask looks down at his former party members. This three stooges are just trying to process that they are alive and he actually won solo. Our boy had completely forgotten they were even there. Talk about being background characters. He sits on his kill, points at the unconscious leader, and casually asks what to do with the trash. This bald leader, now a complete wreck, begs Ask to wait and report the kill to the guild. He is still having a full-blown panic attack while Ask just sits on the corpse behind him, bored. Our boy just buries his face in his hands, clearly regretting not leaving these clowns for dead. This spirit squad immediately materializes, wondering why he is so stressed after that epic win. But then he looks up with a completely unhinged grin, asking if they saw the terror on their faces. Sylph pops up from behind him, confirming that yes, their suffering was indeed hilarious. Undine observes that he is becoming more expressive, while Salamander proudly claims Ask is just becoming a jerk like him. Ask just looks over, completely clueless about what his spirit family is currently debating. Meanwhile, back at the guild, the receptionist calls out for Ellen, who seems to have vanished. This bald leader and his crew are already celebrating their rank up, wondering where Ellen disappeared to. Another adventurer chimes in, enthusiastically offering to help with the search for the mysterious girl. This receptionist immediately orders a full-scale search party. This is clearly a big deal. It is revealed that Ellen, a B-rank adventurer, has already accepted another quest and left town. She is already long gone, heading out towards some distant misty mountains, which brings us back to those 2 measly coins he got paid for all his trouble. As they travel, Sylph asks if that was the first payment he got from those adventurers. He quietly confirms that it was, still a little bummed by the whole experience. Then he clenches his fist, a silent promise to never be that powerless again. Undine tells him not to feel anything for a temporary party, comparing them to the same garbage he dealt with at the academy. He admits their terrified faces were amusing, but now something else has piqued his interest. What has caught his interest now is finding an opponent who is actually worth his time, and his spirits are totally on board, psyched about the idea of a good encounter coming up. But first, a quick meal break as they whip up some kind of local street food. Ask takes a bite, his expression giving absolutely nothing away as usual. His spirits, however, are loving it, with Sylph cheering about how delicious it is. Even Undine is in a good mood, remarking on how pleasant the town feels. Ask's attention is suddenly snagged by something, his gaze fixed while he eats. They have made it to the water capital, Sarli, a gorgeous city built on canals. Thanks to that massive serpent payout, a very enthusiastic innkeeper has put him in the best room available. And Salamander is already making himself at home, declaring the place a total paradise. What a tough life. Alone for a moment, Ask admits this life is not bad at all and he is ready to earn even more. So with that in mind, it is time to find more work at the local Adventurers Guild. Inside, the guild is packed with adventurers, a much more active and high-level crowd than the last one. Sylph zips over, observing that this guild is way more energetic and the adventurers seem stronger. Our boy gets right to it, scanning the packed quest board for his next job. But Undine notes a catch: the quest conditions are the same as F rank, meaning parties are the norm. Since finding a party is a total hassle, he just picks one, a job to hunt some kind of walking fish thing. His mind is made up: if he has to rank up solo, then that is exactly what he will do. Ask politely tries to get past someone, but the hooded adventurer just bluntly says no. But wait a second, under that hood is Ellen, and she looks absolutely stunned to see him there. Ask just turns away, completely ignoring Ellen's existence, cold shoulder activated. His spirits agree it is better to avoid amateurs like that last garbage party he was stuck with. A sudden thought hits him: his father might be looking for him, which could be a problem. But he pushes that aside, getting back to the job and counting his kills out loud. Standing over a pile of dead fish monsters, he notes there is just one left for the quest. After this, he has got options: another job or maybe just wander around town for a bit. He reflects on his past life, a stark contrast to the freedom he has now. For the first time, he feels completely and utterly free from his old constraints. Our boy actually looks content, a rare sight for someone with a permanent done-with-life face. Just then, a scream from the woods completely shatters his peaceful moment of self-reflection. Some poor hooded soul is booking it through the trees, clearly running for their life. And of course, they immediately trip and eat dirt in classic horror movie fashion, with the last walking fish monster hot on their heels ready to turn them into a snack. This person on the ground is screaming for help, calling out for someone named Luria. Ask casually steps in, sword drawn, announcing this is the final target he needed anyway. As the person looks up, their hood falls back to reveal a terrified elf girl. He just stands over her, probably wondering why people cannot handle a single walking fish. She looks up at him, completely stunned, and asks if he is an elf too. Our boy is just confused by the question, asking her what she is even talking about. He is genuinely baffled why she is still cowering when the monster is already dead. Talk about ungrateful. This elf girl is still on the ground, absolutely petrified and staring up at him. Just then, a blur of motion cuts through the air between them, and a second, taller elf in a hood appears, shielding the smaller one from Ask. This newcomer is giving him a serious death glare, clearly not here for a friendly chat. This little one looks up at her protector, who she calls out to as Luria. Luria stands guard, sword drawn, ready to throw down over this massive misunderstanding. Her eyes are locked on Ask, completely convinced he is some kind of villain. Ask just recognizes her from the guild, totally baffled by the sudden hostility. She immediately accuses him of being a trafficker preying on other elves, a pretty wild assumption. In her mind, he is a monster for targeting a child, and she is not about to let it slide. Without a single word of warning, she lunges forward to attack. And Ask just casually parries the blow, looking more annoyed than threatened. Luria is completely floored that he stopped her so easily, screaming about her sword. Our boy's expression just screams, "Are you serious right now?" He calmly tells her to chill out, trying to explain that he is not a kidnapper, but she is still giving him the side-eye, clearly not buying a word of it. So he just grabs her sword hand to stop her from trying anything else stupid. And with a quick twist, he sends her flying, demanding she explain herself. She goes tumbling through the air, completely caught off guard by his strength. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen, just yeeted an elf into a bush to get her to listen. Luria's eyes go wide, a sudden realization dawning on her mid-freakout, so she decides to double down, unleashing some serious spirit magic. And Ask is genuinely surprised, asking if she has a contract with the wind spirit. With a flick of her wrist, she gathers a ball of pure elemental fury, then launches a razor-sharp blast of wind right at his face. Unleashing her big finisher, a storm blast meant to shred him to pieces. She is channeling nature itself, amplifying her magic to an insane degree, thinking this is the ultimate expression of spirit arts. But Ask just stands there, letting the gale whip around him like it is nothing. Sylph just yawns from his shoulder, calling her ultimate attack a gentle breeze. The disrespect is real. Our boy just raises a finger to his lips, literally shushing her tornado, and the entire attack just fizzles out into nothing, leaving him completely untouched. Realizing she is outmatched, Luria grabs the kid and makes a run for it. Her face a perfect mask of I have made a terrible, terrible mistake. Ask calmly explains that her little wind spell is useless against someone contracted with the Wind Spirit King. She looks back in pure terror, finally understanding this guy is on a whole other level. But the little elf she is rescuing is just smiling, trying to get a word in, which finally catches Ask's attention, his gaze narrowing slightly. Luria, however, gets her second wind and screams that she has not lost yet. Girl, read the room. Our boy just lets out a massive sigh, completely over this drama and muttering, guess I have no choice. Ask plants his foot, completely done playing games with this wannabe hero. Before Luria can even react, he closes the distance in a blur of motion, and he grabs her by the chin, shutting down her attack with casual ease. With zero effort, he has her completely immobilized, showing her the real power gap. She is absolutely furious, screaming at him to let go and accusing him of trying to kill her. Our boy just stares back coldly, asking why he should release someone who just tried to murder him. Luria doubles down, insisting it is all a misunderstanding because he was trying to kidnap the child. He flatly explains he was just hunting the Grand Fisher for a guild quest, his job. This little elf finally speaks up from behind a tree, clarifying the monster was attacking her. She then points out the obvious conclusion. He technically saved her, did not he? And she has got this little relieved smile on her face like, oops, our bad. Luria, however, is still on the ground, completely shocked that a human would ever help an elf. Ask is genuinely confused by her reaction, wondering why she is so deeply suspicious. A sudden realization hits Luria, remembering the grim history between their races. It is revealed that demi-humans are heavily discriminated against by the ruling human class, so she asks if he truly does not harbor any prejudice because his actions are unheard of. Ask just looks away, completely indifferent to the entire political situation. All he cares about is that his quest is now complete, end of story. Luria just stares up at him, her entire worldview getting a massive reality check. This little elf peeks out again, stating the obvious. He was not a kidnapper and the situation proves it. This little elf pipes up, admitting she totally misjudged the situation. Whoops. Luria is still processing this massive L, stammering that it is probably time to leave, so she makes a tactical retreat, diving headfirst into the nearest foliage to escape the shame. But before they can go, a whole new party arrives, finding Luria collapsed on the ground. These newcomers are a cat girl and another adventurer, and they do not look happy about this. Turns out this is Luria's party. The cat girl is Liz and her companion is Laughlin. Ask is actually bowing to them and Luria's party just stares, completely baffled by the situation. This little elf is trying to de-escalate, explaining Luria was attacked but that Liz has the wrong guy. That explanation does not compute as Liz goes full feral, screaming for him to get away from Luria. Without a second of hesitation, she launches herself into a flying kick, zero questions asked. Our boy's only reaction is a deadpan fast, because of course he is not even sweating. Laughlin, the only one with a brain cell, screams for her to stop this madness. Then we get a sound effect that can only mean one thing. Wait, what? Ask's solution to a flying kick to the face is to just lean in and kiss her. Problem solved. Laughlin and the little elf are just frozen in shock, their brains completely fried by this turn of events. And for the first time in this entire series, Ask is actually blushing, completely mortified. This shock wears off and Liz immediately delivers a knockout punch, sending Ask flying. He is on the ground and the party is now screaming at him to stay away, calling him a human. Ask is completely stunned, a sudden realization hitting him about some kind of oath or vow. And through all this chaos, Luria is just sitting on the ground, completely breaking down in tears. Ask just stands there touching his lips, completely processing the tactical error he just made. And for the first time ever, our boy is actually crying, totally overwhelmed and blushing furiously. His spirits are all freaking out in his head as he thinks about how warm and soft it was. Meanwhile, the rest of the party is just trying to pick up the pieces of this social train wreck. With a heavy stomp, Ask finally gets himself back on his feet, but he is still covering his mouth, looking like his entire operating system just crashed. This little elf rushes to his side, asking if he is okay and insisting he is the one who saved her. She has got tears in her eyes, desperately trying to get everyone to just listen for 1 second. Liz, the cat girl, is also beat red, shouting that he actually went and kissed her. Our boy's eyes are just wide with shock, his own spirit reflecting his total confusion. He is just standing there completely lost, like he has forgotten how to be a person. A quick glance back shows he is still trying to reboot his brain after that disaster. His spirits are going absolutely wild, mirroring the emotional chaos he is feeling, and he clutches his chest, wondering if these intense emotions are even his own. One of his spirits then lectures him that a kiss is supposed to be special, you moron. So Ask genuinely asks the group if he is the one who should be apologizing here. Liz completely loses it, yelling it was an accident and she does not care, a classic tsundere meltdown. This party just starts walking off, the tension now replaced by pure, unadulterated awkwardness. But the little elf turns back, inviting him to their home as a proper thank you. And it looks like they have settled for a campfire because nothing says, sorry we tried to kill you like s'mores. Ask decides they should probably do proper introductions, after the attempted murder. Laughlin introduces herself as a water fairy while Liz the cat girl gives a cheeky wink. This little one says her name is Kai as Luria continues her world-class sulk in the background. Luria is just sitting there with her cheeks puffed out, still processing that massive L she took. We get a random flash to a tiny kid in overalls clinging to an adult's leg. Okay then, followed by a bunch of creepy, glowing eyes watching from the shadows, which is not at all concerning. Back at the fire, Ask gets a serious look on his face, ready to ask a question. He just straight up asks why a whole group of them are camping out in the woods. One of his spirits appears, chiding him that this is a monster-filled forest, not a cozy home. Laughlin explains with a sad smile that they cannot enter the city, so they are used to it. An older, blindfolded elf tells the others it is fine to have a human around for now. With his quest done and tea finished, Ask just gets up to leave, a total professional. But Luria suddenly panics, screaming for him to wait as he starts walking off. She points out that after all that chaos, they never even got his name. Our boy looks back, realizing he totally forgot, and finally introduces himself as Ask. Luria softly repeats his name, a little blush creeping onto her cheeks. And she finally thanks him for saving Kai, saying she wants to repay the favor. But Ask just brushes it off, telling her it was just a guild request, no big deal. His complete indifference leaves her totally speechless, not the reaction she was expecting at all. So she asks him if he is really human, wondering why he does not mock or exploit them. He explains that for over 10 years he has been caught up in human society's drama, but his spirits are the ones who give him a place, never asking for repayment, and he is determined to keep going, not just for himself but for them too. Luria listens, thinking her people have no desire to be anything like the humans he describes, quietly admitting to herself that this whole situation is becoming a real problem. So she stands tall and vows to repay the debt, because that is just how elves roll. Our boy's face just screams, I am so not interested in your life debt drama, and he flat out calls her noble vow a pain in the neck, shocking her to her core. Then a light bulb goes off. He remembers high-rank guild quests often require a party, which prompts Luria's group to ask the obvious question, is he an adventurer too? She proudly states she is a B-rank adventurer with Liz and Laughlin at C-rank. Laughlin gives a soft, simple yes in agreement, while Liz flashes a feigned grin, confirming with a whole lot more confidence. With his back to them, Ask drops the most unexpected proposal, let him join their party, and all three girls are just frozen, their brains collectively short-circuiting at the request. Luria explains they have tried partnering with humans before, but they could not be trusted. But Ask just looks back, saying he has a feeling things will be different with them. This trio exchanges glances, clearly trying to figure out what to do with this guy. As his now empty cup sits on the ground, a silent punctuation to his offer, and Luria's final thought on the matter is simple. This guy is an absolute weirdo. After his insane proposal, Ask just holds out a hand, waiting for their answer. Luria actually agrees, reaching out to formally accept his offer to join them. Our boy is completely blindsided by this, just stammering out a what. She gets all flustered, telling him to shake her hand properly instead of just pointing. Ask just stares at his own hand like he has never seen a social contract before, so they shake on it with Ask thinking he'd rather not team up with anyone who'd resent him. Meanwhile, Luria's got this smug look, thinking it is better to partner with a loner like him. With her mind made up, she looks down, a silent resolve on her face. And Ask's eye narrows, that weird pupil of his locking onto her reaction. Then Luria hits him with a smile so bright it could power a small city, which completely short-circuits his brain, his eyes going wide with a literal heartthrob sound effect. This rest of the party immediately starts planning a welcome party, totally hyped for their new member. And just like that, the real adventure begins for Ask and his new, chaotic team. Their first stop as an official party is of course the Adventurers Guild, where some loudmouth adventurer is already making a scene at the quest board. Ask and the crew ignore him, checking out the available jobs for themselves. And our boy immediately starts looking for the quest with the biggest payout priorities people. Luria finds one, but she is stunned to see it as a B-rank mission. She explains it as a hunt for a drained dog, and Ask has absolutely no idea what that is, just as the loudmouth from before starts harassing one of their hooded party members. Luria's thinking there is no info on this monster, which is a massive red flag. This loudmouth keeps running his mouth, accusing the hooded party member of being a money-grubbing nobody. Kai and the blindfolded elf are giving him the ultimate "are you serious right now" stare. Luria starts to panic, trying to get Ask's attention before he does something rash. But it is too late, he is already at the counter accepting the quest without a single word to anyone. His spirits are having a party in his head, hyping him up for an easy victory. Luria whips around, demanding to know what the hell he thinks he is doing. She reminds him they are a party and that means they make decisions together, you lone wolf. Ask just gives her a 1,000-yard stare, the concept of teamwork clearly not in his vocabulary. One of his spirits helpfully points out that he already accepted the quest, so oops, too late. Out in the woods, Luria confirms they have arrived at the designated monster hunting spot. Liz immediately points out the obvious: the entire forest is dead silent, which is super creepy. Ask stands apart from the group, just staring into the distance like he is sensing something. When Luria asks for his thoughts, he just tenses up, clearly picking up on a bad vibe. Our boy is actually flustered, stammering as he tries to process what he is feeling. Luria is also completely on edge, a strange new emotion making it hard for her to even speak. A spirit warns him that the landscape around them is not natural at all, and with a sudden jolt, Ask's eye widens as he finally puts the pieces together. He spots the source of the disturbance, a strange, shimmering orb of energy deep in the woods, and at its center is the drained dog, looking less like a monster and more like a sad, lost puppy. Luria immediately spots their target and charges forward, leaving Ask in the dust. But she quickly tries to call him back, realizing she is being way too reckless. And there it is, the terrifying drained dog, a fluffy little puppy that looks completely lost. Luria immediately calls BS, insisting that cute little thing cannot possibly be their target. Ask suddenly tenses up, hearing a weird scraping sound coming from beneath the ground. As a beastman, Liz's hearing is way better and she is picking up on the vibrations too. Then from the darkness of a nearby cave, a pair of huge, blank eyes just stare back. Both of them instantly realize they have walked right into a massive trap. This ground starts to crack and tremble, whatever's down there is coming up and it is coming up fast. A massive, grand worm erupts from the earth and yeah, that looks a lot more like a B-rank monster. Ask's brain is racing, remembering these things are supposed to live in deserts, not forests. This little puppy looks up with a sudden realization as if it knows exactly what is happening. Its forehead splits open to reveal a glowing third eye. Okay, that is not a normal puppy. Luria freaks out, suddenly remembering something she read about a creature with a third eye, and Ask finally gets it. The cute puppy is the drained dog, a monster that controls others to do its dirty work. His spirits are in full panic mode, explaining the worm isn't a rank threat and they are completely outmatched. But Ask just steps forward, ready to fight, completely ignoring his spirit's very valid concerns. This rest of the party is justifiably losing their minds at his sudden death wish. His gaze is locked on the enemy, totally focused and ready for a brawl. With a clenched fist, he prepares to take on an rank monster, because teamwork is for suckers. Luria snaps out of her terror, shouting that if they want to survive, they need a plan, but Ask just glances back, telling them to fall back if they cannot come up with one. His eyes suddenly go wide, a new strategy clicking into place in his head, and a confident grin spreads across his face as he formulates a totally insane idea. This grand worm's many heads roar, ready to turn the entire party into a light snack. With his sword drawn, Ask dives right into the chaos, announcing this is the new plan. He zips between attacks, explaining the more he acts like bait, the more the worm will ignore them. A cute little versus screen pops up as he explains the puppy is weak and can only control one tentacle at a time. So while he plays Matador with the rank worm, he tells them to go for the real target. Liz is just floored, admitting his movements are way too fast to be human. And Luria finally gets it. This guy is not just some nobody, he is the real deal. She remembers him joining their party and realizes this is his way of proving he is worth trusting. Our boy gives a little smirk, his point having been made loud and clear. This girls are now a well-oiled machine, with Luria giving orders to take down the puppy. Just in time, too, as one of the worm's heads lunges straight for them. But Luria does not even flinch, preparing a spell to intercept it. creating a wind curtain that deflects the attack and gives Liz a clear shot. That worm's giant maw is wide open, a perfect target for a beatdown, and Liz flashes a feral grin ready to deliver exactly that, unleashing a devastating blow right into the side of the monster's head. This little puppy controller is absolutely losing its mind, screaming its head off as the worm gets rocked. Liz, still riding the worm, realizes her mistake. She was supposed to hit the puppy, not the puppet. But she just winks, totally unbothered, as Laughlin in the background starts to glow with magical energy. This quiet one, Laughlin begins chanting a holy spell, calling down a blessing from the heavens, and a massive icicle lance spell zips right past Liz, slamming directly into the tiny drain dog, which gets absolutely blasted, letting out a pained, bloody shriek. This whole party just stares, their expressions a mix of shock and grim determination. Then they immediately break into cheers, celebrating a job well done, or so they think. Ask watches them celebrate, silently admitting to himself that their teamwork was actually incredible. He is analyzing their individual strengths, the elf's magic, the beastman's power, the siren's unique talent, and he realizes that together they might actually be way stronger than he is. This thought seems to genuinely surprise him, his strange eye widening at the revelation. Meanwhile, the grand worms' heads are just kind of moaning, their job as a puppet seemingly over. And with the drained dog's mind control broken, the massive worm starts sinking back into the earth. Ask turns away, declaring the job is done, case closed, time to get paid. But Luria senses something's off, asking him what is wrong now. His gaze is fixed on a distant town, a silent reminder of why he is even out here. Explaining the worm was only here because it was hypnotized, forced into an environment it could not survive in. That little detail makes the girls jolt, a horrifying realization dawning on them. Luria freaks out, realizing that once the worm recovers, it is going to hunt for prey and they are the closest meal. And sure enough, the worm's main body is now beelining it straight for that nearby town. With the mind control completely shattered, the monster is now on its own destructive path. This girls immediately start to panic, admitting they are way too weak to stop it. But Ask just asks why they are so worried. It is a human town, so it is not their problem. His spirits quickly remind him that if the town gets flattened, so does their inn and their reward money. Then a tiny spirit pops up with an even more terrifying piece of information, explaining that they could actually be sued for damages if they let the worm rampage. That one word, damages, hits Ask like a ton of bricks, his wallet screaming in terror. Another spirit confirms they will lose everything, which finally gets our boy moving. He slams his hands into the ground, causing a massive shockwave to erupt from the earth, intercepting the grand worm just as it bursts from the ground, ready for a snack. His party can only watch from the sidelines, their jaws on the floor at this sudden display. Ask just plants his feet, preparing to unleash whatever insane power he has been hiding. And with a final push, he summons some kind of shadowy, binding energy from the ground. These dark tendrils shoot up, wrapping around the massive beast and holding it in place. He looks up with a strained expression, clearly putting everything he has into this move. Luria watches on, realizing with a start that he has actually managed to stop it. Immediately, the girls are all over him, gushing about how unbelievably cool he is. Our boy, however, looks completely unimpressed, his face shadowed over by their praise, and he just turns and walks away, leaving his new fan club staring after him. He stomps his foot, trying to ground himself after all that praise. Dude is not used to this. And Ask is a blushing mess, completely flustered by this new and unfamiliar feeling of elation. Back at the Adventurers Guild, it is time to report their totally under control mission, where the guild receptionist greets them with a knowing little smile, ready for the details. As she confirms they handled both the drained dog and the grand worm, the whole room just stops. And look who it is, the loudmouth from before, absolutely eating his words in the corner. Ask's ear twitches, catching their disbelief while he is still trying to process the whole team thing. But the girls are just buzzing, already talking about the bonus pay while Ask looks like he is about to short circuit. Just then, a pair of very expensive-looking shoes steps into the guild hall, uh-oh, boss music. And even the receptionist is shocked as a mysterious man walks right up to their party. Ask just turns around, completely blunt, and asks who the hell this guy is, who introduces himself as Adam, the guild master, and he has heard all about their little adventure. This girls are absolutely losing it in the background, totally starstruck by the big boss's appearance. While one of Ask's spirits notes how organized the guilds are as Adam offers them a hefty bonus. He explains that by saving the town, they have massively boosted the guild's reputation, and he is grateful, which makes Luria realize the guild has to properly reward them for a job this big. This guild master then formally asks for their continued partnership, trying to recruit them for the long haul. But Adam cannot get a read on Ask at all, noting his expression is a complete blank. Ask, meanwhile, is thinking this guy is nothing like the other humans he has dealt with before. Then one of his spirits explains Adam's angle. He is looking for an equal, judging people on skill, not status. With a single point, Ask seals the deal, no lengthy contract negotiations needed. And he shakes hands with Adam, making their new partnership official while the girls just stare. This guild master says he is looking forward to working with them, officially bringing them into the fold. Later that night, the scene shifts to a quiet, starry sky, which is immediately ruined by a massive party because apparently saving a town means you get a feast. Our boy, of course, is sitting by himself because social interaction is clearly his greatest weakness. Liz is having the time of her life, dancing around while Ask just broods in the corner. while his spirit starts freaking out, asking if he is really joining them since they are the ones who beat the worm. And she clarifies this whole party is a thank you celebration thrown just for him. Even the village elders are singing his praises, saying they cannot believe a human is this reliable. Ask just sits there, completely deadpan, as his brain tries to compute the concept of gratitude. It turns out this village is full of kids and the elderly, all supported by Luria's party. He watches them all from a distance, still keeping himself separate from the group, until Luria approaches with a thoughtful expression, clearly having something important to say, and sits down right next to him, breaking his personal bubble for a little chat. With a genuine smile, she finally thanks him properly for everything he has done, explaining that without him, all these innocent people would have been monster food. Our boy just looks back at her, his expression unreadable but clearly processing her words, then asks why she is thanking him, pointing out her party has no reason to care about humans. Luria reveals it is because these people were persecuted by humans and now live here as refugees. To Luria, protecting these refugees is no different than protecting her own party members. And that little tidbit of info seems to hit Ask right where he lives. Then Laughlin, the quiet elf, starts to explain her side of things. This village kid's pipe up, insisting Ask should get all the bonus pay since he did the most work. Our boy flashes back to his old party, remembering how they just used him for his skills, but he just brushes it off, saying they all played a part in the fight. As official party members, he tells Laughlin it is only right they all get a proper share. His words seem to land with Luria, who goes quiet for a moment, and Laughlin absolutely lights up, giving him a genuine, heartfelt thank you. Then she immediately follows up with a hug, completely catching our boy off guard. One of his spirits pops up, telling him he looks better when he smiles right after he face plants. This village kids immediately swarm him, calling him Big Brother and peppering him with questions. Just then, Liz swoops in to rescue him from the kidpocalypse, pulling him along. A little kid then offers him a plate of food, saying Laughlin made it just for him. He takes a bite, probably the first taste of home cooking he has had in who knows how long, and his spirits immediately start raving about how delicious it is, a 5-star review. This taste seems to short-circuit his brain, his eyes going wide in disbelief. Meanwhile, the girls are just watching him, realizing this is their first real meal as a full party. All this wholesomeness is clearly too much for him as he looks away, completely flustered. Surrounded by his new team, he finally cracks a small smile, thinking this whole party thing is not so bad after all. This next morning, the village is quiet, a peaceful scene after a night of celebration. And Ask just watches as this whole community of different races works and lives together. He is genuinely stunned, realizing this little settlement is more functional than most cities. An elder explains that despite their different cultures, everyone here cooperates to survive. This whole scene triggers a memory of a perfect, happy family, something he never had, and he accidentally says it out loud, muttering that they are all like a family. A little bunny kid immediately pops up to correct his absolutely massive blunder. Because the cat girl fiercely declares they are a family, no like about it, period. Our boy's brain just short-circuits at the concept of family without blood ties, a painful thought hitting him that this found family is more real than his ever was. Just then, Luria approaches with the village elders, calling his name to get his attention. She says they have something they want to discuss with him, which is never a good sign. This lead elder steps forward, formally asking for permission to properly thank him, explaining that since they are too old to work, they have been forced to rely on the girls' dangerous jobs, but having someone as strong as Ask around has finally given them a sense of security. He just brushes it off, saying it is his job now, he is a party member after all. Luria gives him this incredibly soft smile, clearly moved by his simple acceptance of his role. And even the elders are getting choked up, completely overwhelmed by his reliability. Then the mood shatters as someone asks his age and he casually says he is 16. His spirits absolutely lose their minds, he is their age. While Ask panics, thinking, wait, do I look old? This elf elder just smiles, saying 16 is the age of adulthood where he is from, so it is all good. But Liz gets this absolutely feral look on her face, a terrifying grin spreading from ear to ear. Her brain immediately jumps to marriage. Since he is an adult, one of them can totally marry him now. Luria is a blushing, stammering mess, completely short-circuiting at the very idea. Our boy and his spirits can only stare, totally baffled by this sudden high-speed derailment. His spirits are absolutely losing it, demanding to know what he said to make them all jump to marriage. Then Laughlin just taps Luria on the shoulder, nominating her for the position, problem solved. This other two immediately gang up on Luria, shoving her forward since she is the one who kissed him. Even the elder is asking Luria for confirmation, while Ask is just trying to remember when this kiss happened. Turns out, for elves, a kiss is a formal ceremony, a pledge to dedicate your life to someone. Turning to Luria, he demands to know why she failed to mention that tiny, life-altering detail. She is a flustered mess, completely unable to explain herself and looking guilty as hell. He figures with their strict culture, it is a hard topic to broach, but a forced marriage is not on his agenda. So Ask just cuts in, saying it was an accident and he is human, so he is exempt from the whole lifelong pledge thing. His words seem to reassure everyone as he tells her she can relax as long as she is in the party. With that settled, a banner hangs outside their new base of operations, making it all official. And with official status comes the cash, as Liz is absolutely giddy over their earnings. Back at the guild, they are already turning in their second successful quest, and the whole room is buzzing. Naturally, the loudmouth from before is watching, his face a perfect mask of shock and envy. Then, a couple of hooded kids from the village approach, asking his plans since they are going for supplies. Luria is completely stunned by the kids' suggestion that she and Ask should split up for the supply run. This scene shifts to the bustling city, their destination for this little shopping trip, and Ask walks through the streets with one of the hooded kids who turns out to be a girl. They move in silence for a moment, a noticeable distance between them, while her expression is serious as she watches him, clearly building up to something important. Without even turning around, Ask just keeps walking, waiting for her to speak her mind. She finally asks why he never pries into their tragic past or their current situation, and his answer is brutally simple: he has got his own baggage, so it goes both ways. This blunt but fair response seems to catch her completely off guard, but then Ask turns, saying there is asterisk something he'd like to hear about if she is willing. He looks dead serious, ready to finally get some real answers about his new team. They cross a small bridge in a quiet part of the city, the perfect spot for a heavy conversation. With a somber look, she prepares to tell him everything he wants to know, explaining they came from a small village built by many different races seeking peace. A flashback shows their once happy community where everyone lived in harmony, until a human army led by a noble attacked their home, burning it to the ground. This adults who fought back were captured, leaving only the young and old to escape the slaughter. Ask finally understands why their settlement is only filled with kids and the elderly, and clenching her fist, she admits they cannot keep living on the run like this forever. Life in a monster-filled forest is just too brutal, one illness could wipe them all out. She turns to Ask, explaining that because of everything they have lost, they have a new goal. With a desperate fire in her eyes, she declares she wants to build a real home for her family. Ask is a bit thrown, asking if she just means buying a house to live in peacefully. That is why she became an adventurer. The guild does not care about race, so it was their only shot. But of course there is always a however, because this world loves to crush dreams. She admits that reality has been a lot crueler than she ever could have imagined. A close-up on her eye reveals the sheer despair of hitting wall after frustrating wall. Turns out humans will not even sell property to demi-humans who cannot even walk openly in the city. On top of that, they are completely broke, just barely scraping by to survive each day. Yet she clenches her fist, vowing with every fiber of her being that she will never give up. That look in her eye is pure, unshakable resolve forged in the face of total hopelessness. Even Ask's spirits are moved, calling her strong for fighting so hard for her found family. He realizes their lives are polar opposites. He is running from his past while she is building a future. Unlike him with his royal safety net, she is facing impossible odds with nothing but grit. Looking her dead in the eye, Ask just straight up tells her she is incredible. This compliment completely short-circuits her brain, leaving her stunned and blushing furiously. He just turns away, promising to support her however he can as a party member. Then he tries to shut down the marriage talk, saying an elf like her will find a better guy real smooth. This scene shifts as the weight of their conversation hangs in the air. While elsewhere, a group of adventurers gossip about the party that has been acing high-rank quests. One of the gossiping adventurers smirks, saying he wants to poach someone from that new party. His buddy points out they are a total mystery, especially with the girls always wearing hoods. Elsewhere, two of the village kids are running through an alley, one chasing the other. This cat girl kid suddenly trips, letting out a yelp as she starts to fall forward. But her friend catches her, scolding her for being clumsy while she is just happily eating a bun. This little display of demi-human features stops the gossiping adventurers dead in their tracks. Their brains finally catch up, realizing the hoods are to hide the fact they are not human. A week later, Ask reflects that he is actually getting comfortable with his new team. Back at the village, the kids are already swarming him, asking if he is staying over again. One of them even gushes about how strong he is, which is a huge help to everyone. This gets a little blush out of Luria, who has been watching the whole exchange. Ask tries to politely decline, suggesting an inn, but the girls are having none of it. He later admits to Laughlin that being around everyone is surprisingly calming for him. His honest words earn him a small, genuine smile from the usually quiet elf. But the peaceful moment shatters when a group of thugs shows up, led by a guy claiming to be his brother. Ask is completely baffled, having no clue who this creep is, as the guy mocks him. With a smug grin, the guy tells Ask that his new party is totally deceiving him. He then gets way too close, putting a hand on Laughlin's shoulder to make his point. Suddenly, a blonde woman from the thugs group yanks Laughlin away, looking absolutely furious. Her grip is iron-tight, a clear warning that this little reunion is about to get violent. That blonde woman's grip is pure iron, and Laughlin can barely hide her agony. This guild staff just stares, completely floored by this sudden public drama. Those gossiping adventurers finally notice Laughlin's ears, their jaws just about hitting the floor. And it finally clicks for them that the entire party is made up of demi-humans, not just her. Taking their cue, the other thugs immediately grab the two village kids, who start fighting back hard. Luria is absolutely terrified, pleading with them to let the poor kids go. And that is the last straw for Ask. His expression goes completely cold. He unleashes this insane pressure that freezes the thugs in place, telling them to stop. His spirits manifest as these terrifying, shadowy figures, a sight that paralyses everyone with fear. One of the goons is completely locked up, stammering that this feels worse than any high-rank monster. One of his spirits helpfully explains their power. They basically command nature through their contract. And the dragon spirit adds that Ask's rage is supercharging them, channeling his will into raw power. His so-called brother is losing his mind, screaming that he is doing all this for Ask's own good. Ask just glares back, coldly telling him not to decide what is best for him. As he steps forward, we see a small, discarded blade lying right by his foot. He puts himself between the thugs and his party, declaring he knew exactly who they were when he joined. Naturally, the loudmouth from before has to chime in, calling him a freak for siding with demi-humans. This fake brother just smirks, condescendingly asking if he has even seen what he is defending. With a sharp clap of his hands, Ask demands silence from the entire damn room. A guild official finally steps in, threatening to punish everyone if they do not shut it down immediately. This guild official steps forward to lay down the law, with everyone watching this mess unfold. With a cool push of his glasses, he agrees to settle this whole thing right here, right now. His gaze is sharp, clearly weighing the guild's reputation against all this public drama. Luria looks on nervously because her entire future is hanging in the balance here. He then announces the guild's official policy: they do not care about race, only if you are useful. Ask is completely taken aback by this surprisingly progressive, if brutally pragmatic, stance. But of course there is a catch, because there is always a catch in these situations. If this drama hurts the guild, everyone gets banned, except for Lord Iren, which is apparently Ask's real name. This loudmouth immediately starts whining that having demi-humans around will tarnish everyone's reputation. And just to drive the point home, we get a nice dramatic close-up on one of those pointy elf ears. To end the conflict, Ask just agrees to leave town, calling for Luria to follow his lead. These girls are absolutely crushed, realizing they are being kicked out of their only safe haven. But Liz gets that feral look again, declaring they will just find another city to call home. Her unwavering spirit seems to catch even Ask completely by surprise for a moment. Luria's mind flashes to their village, leaving means abandoning all those kids and elders. It means another painful goodbye, another journey into the dangerous unknown for their whole community. Suddenly, a light flares from Ask's chest as he clenches his fist. He is not done yet. With his face hidden in shadow, he asks if all he has to do is prove their worth. This loudmouth thug is just completely lost, having no idea what the kid is even talking about. Ask then declares he will prove his party is more valuable to the guild than any of these clowns. This guild official looks over his glasses, asking for the punchline to this whole mess. Ask then declares they will clear every single B-rank quest on the board by the end of the day. This announcement makes the entire room's collective jaw hit the floor in total shock. Even Mr. Professional here is so stunned his glasses literally fall off his face. Luria immediately starts panicking, asking Ask what in the world he is even thinking. Of course, the peanut gallery starts laughing, pointing out there are over 50 quests for just 4 people. This official just shuts it down, saying the guild gets absolutely nothing out of this ridiculous bet. But our boy just stands there, completely unfazed, ready to double down on his insane plan. He raises the stakes. If they fail, he will work for the guild for free for the rest of his life. Now the official is interested, asking what Ask wants if he actually pulls this off. Ask lays out his demand: a house for 20, far from the city, where they can live in peace. Luria is just floored, realizing he is putting his entire future on the line for them. With a shark-like grin, the official agrees, but ups the ante to all rank quests instead. These thugs are absolutely losing their minds with joy, thinking they have already won this. Later in the forest, the mood is a lot less celebratory, with someone sobbing in the background. It is the girls, telling Ask that what he has promised is completely impossible for them to achieve. Luria's face is just pure worry, her hope completely draining away in that moment. Pleading, she asks if he is really serious as he starts to walk away from them. He turns back slightly, admitting that alone it is impossible, but with them it is a different story. Liz just stares, completely speechless at his unwavering faith in their strength. Luria just stares, completely floored by his sudden, unwavering declaration of faith. His gaze is intense, showing he is dead serious about this impossible plan. Ask reminds them he has seen their incredible power and knows exactly what they can do. This leaves the entire group completely stunned and at a loss for words. He roars with everything he has got that he has total faith in them. His raw emotion finally starts to break through their despair, even getting a blush from Laughlin, so he begs them to put their faith in him just as he has put his in them. After a tense moment, the girls turn away from him, ready to get to work. Wasting no time, Liz is already on the move, snatching up herbs for a gathering quest. With one quest already in the bag, Luria directs them to the next target immediately. Liz grits her teeth, noting the delicious irony that the quests are to hunt demi-human poachers. Meanwhile, Luria is on support duty, scouting out monster locations to keep the momentum going. As a monster wolf lunges, it is immediately intercepted by a blast of powerful magic, which turns out to be from Laughlin, who admits her spirit arts are too wild to control alone. But with Ask backing her up, she is grinning, ready to finally cut loose and go wild. And by go wild, she means summoning a freaking tornado to clear the area. Our boy can only watch in total shock, realizing he severely underestimated what their power meant. Even Liz is absolutely losing her mind, probably not expecting a literal natural disaster. And Luria is right there with her, screaming her head off at the sheer overkill. Laughlin glances back, maybe realizing that a giant tornado was a *** much for a B-rank quest. Ask's resolve is absolute. He declares he's going to see this through to the very end. And just like that, Ask is airborne on his dragon spirit, kicking off this impossible questathon. This dragon spirit reminds him he is basically a slave for life if they fail, all for these girls. But then she gets this sly little grin, clearly enjoying the drama of it all. His spirit notes that for someone who just bet his entire future, his heart seems pretty happy. Ask admits it is because he finally has people to care for, and that is all that matters. Elsewhere, the dragon spirit coaches Liz, telling her to focus the power of her rage and control it, which results in a massive flash of pure, concentrated power. As Liz screams for everything to burn, leaving Ask completely gobsmacked by the sheer destructive force. This resulting blast just scours the landscape, leaving nothing but scorched earth behind. With that, Luria happily declares all the quests are done, completely ignoring the shell-shocked looks on everyone's faces. Even Liz is trying to act normal, agreeing with Luria as Laughlin just stands there silently. Suddenly, Laughlin takes a determined step right towards Ask, and just leaps right into his arms, wrapping him in a massive, grateful hug. This sudden display of affection leaves the rest of the girls completely stunned and blushing. Tucked into his shoulder, she is crying, whispering a heartfelt thank you to Ask. Our boy, for his part, is completely blindsided by this emotional outburst. He cannot quite place the feeling, just that it is strange. His party is just beaming, telling him that seeing him fight for their freedom meant more than anything. And for what feels like the first time, a small, genuine smile finally breaks through his stoic exterior. With the impossible quest done, Liz and Laughlin just beam at Ask, telling him he is welcome. Luria is absolutely overcome with emotion, realizing they finally have a real home. And it is not just for them, it is a safe haven for all the kids and elders from their village. A guild attendant leads the excited children toward their brand new life, who all turn to formally thank the man for escorting them to safety. One of them explains they are grateful for both the house and the prompt payment for the quests. That smug guild official pushes up his glasses, already planning how to exploit his new A-rank cash cow. A butler then informs them of their new ranks. Ask and Luria are A rank, the other two are B. These villagers are just overjoyed, finally able to live without fear and persecution. One of the kids gleefully recalls the looks on those thugs' faces back at the guild, pure unadulterated shock. She adds that seeing those jerks get put in their place feels like some kind of cosmic justice. A little bear girl is so excited she can barely even form words, just letting out a happy squeal. This entire community erupts in celebration, cheering that they finally have a big house to call their own. And immediately the kids rush inside, already starting a chaotic argument over who gets which room. With a grand swing, the doors to their new mansion open wide, but Ask just stands outside, reflecting that this was all just to see other people smile. His dragon spirit pops in to congratulate him, and he quietly agrees with her. Laughlin then calls out from the doorway, telling him to stop dawdling and come inside already. But Ask just tells her he is fine out here, stating that this is their home, not his. This leaves the girls completely baffled, asking if he seriously is not going to live with them. He explains he got this house so they could all live peacefully without being hassled, because seeing them happy is apparently the only reward he needs. What a saint. Besides, he is a rootless wanderer, and it was about time for him to leave town anyway. So he will just crash at an inn for a bit before heading out on his merry way. Luria's face goes completely blank with a look of pure unadulterated horror. Her eyes are practically screaming, "You did not just say that." But Ask is already turning to leave, completely oblivious to the emotional bomb he just dropped. And with a final shot of the town, it seems like he is actually serious about this. His dragon spirit immediately pops up, accusing him of running away from them, which leaves our boy looking completely flustered because she is not wrong. Later in the woods, he admits to his spirit that he panicked when he saw Luria's face freeze over. She asks if it is really okay to just leave after everything they have been through together. Meanwhile, the girls are having a meal, probably realizing their hero is an emotional brick wall. Ask clutches his chest, noting the warmth he felt is turning cold now that he is alone. His little fairy spirit helpfully explains that this new, awful feeling is called loneliness. He can only whisper the word back, as if discovering a new element on the periodic table. Suddenly, Luria appears behind him by the water, having tracked him down. He whips around in surprise as she calls his name, clearly not expecting to be found. And she is looking absolutely, positively, 100% furious with him. This text helpfully points out she has an angry face, which is the understatement of the century. Luria grabs Ask by the collar, and our boy looks like he has just seen a ghost. She absolutely unloads on him, screaming about how unbelievably selfish he is being. Ask's eyes are just wide with shock, clearly not computing the situation at all. Even his spirits are in full-on panic mode because this is a 5-alarm fire. She lays it all out, how he made that insane bet and sacrificed his entire future for them, and now he is trying to just walk away before they can ever repay him for it. Our boy just looks down, completely at a loss for what to even say. Luria yells that she is so confused and angry, and it is all his fault for making her feel this way. He finally speaks, admitting that he just does not understand any of it. This response just leaves her speechless, probably not the confession she was expecting. Ask's face darkens as he starts to explain his whole deal, revealing he has always felt like an empty puppet just going through the motions. He was raised to be emotionless, unable to even connect with his own family, but through his battles and his spirits, he slowly started to feel things for the first time, and meeting her and the others unlocked more than just his usual battle rage. He recalls all the new, strange feelings he has had with them, warmth, happiness, all that good stuff. But even with his new family, he feels like there is a key emotion he is missing. He concludes he is a creature incapable of understanding love, so he has to be alone. As he turns to leave again, Luria looks completely crushed by his logic bomb of a confession, so she hits him with the ultimate counteroffer, "Then you have to marry me." Ask's brain just completely short-circuits, totally unprepared for that marriage proposal. He can barely stammer out the word marriage, as she calls him a strange, troublesome person. Luria screams that because he saved them, this is the only logical path forward. She gets right in his face, explaining he treated them as equals and helped her realize something huge. And that huge realization is that she is completely in love with him, full-on teary confession and all. Our boy's reaction to this emotional bombshell is a tiny, almost unreadable smile. Meanwhile, his spirits are just watching this whole soap opera unfold from the sidelines. And yeah, they are absolutely eating up this drama, completely floored by the sudden romance. With that confession now hanging in the air, Luria lays out her plan. They are going to learn about love and all these messy emotions asterisk together. This actually gets a tear out of Ask, who is clearly overwhelmed by this sudden flood of feelings. This stoic facade he has maintained for so long is just completely crumbling at this point. He admits to himself this is the first time in his entire life anyone has ever said they liked him. Looking back, he realizes no one else could have possibly taught him so many new things about himself. With his resolve hardening, his hand begins to glow with a new kind of power. Through her tears, Luria asks if he will let her take responsibility for everything he has done for them. But Ask flips the script entirely, gently touching her face and telling her to marry him. Flash forward to the next morning and Luria is waking him up with a cheerful good morning. She is already in full-on domestic mode, telling him to hurry down before breakfast gets cold. When he tries to sleep in, she just yanks him out of bed, yelling that family eats together, no excuses. She is laying down the law with terrifying intensity, family eats together, end of discussion. A few days pass and Luria is just happily reflecting on their new domestic arrangement, while Ask considers how warmly everyone has welcomed him as a true member of the family. Luria then points out they have not had an actual wedding ceremony yet, just a minor detail. But her face is just pure unadulterated happiness, ceremony or not. All that matters, she told him, is that they are together. That is more than enough for her. And this simple, unconditional acceptance just leaves Ask completely stunned. Downstairs, the whole gang is there to greet them with a massive good morning. For once, Ask looks completely at ease, joining Luria in a quiet good morning of his own, believing that even if he does not get it now, he will understand these feelings one day. Later, over at the Adventurers Guild, it seems like another normal day is underway. Until Ask and his party walk in, all hooded and clearly trying to avoid drawing attention. Liz, Luria, and Laughlin are all sporting some seriously determined expressions, and their dramatic entrance, of course, does not go unnoticed by the other patrons. A few other adventurers are just checking the quest board, completely oblivious for now. As Laughlin notes her mantle is torn, declaring they need to make the culprit apologize and pay up. In fact, she wants them to pay back double, a demand that has Ask absolutely losing his mind. Our boy tries to calm her down, insisting a simple apology is enough and she can buy a new one, but her response seems to leave him completely stunned yet again. His little spirit then chimes in, reminding him that since they are a rank, the whole party can take top-tier quests now. This spirit is practically vibrating with glee, pointing out that higher ranks mean way better pay. Looking over the quest board, they decide to pick a local job so they can be home for dinner, priorities, you know. With a determined little smile, Laughlin snags a quest from the board, looking pretty pleased with herself. At the counter, the attendant cheerfully accepts their request, noting it is a rare one involving a forest guardian. Our boy then leans in, looking like he has a follow-up question for the attendant. But her cheerful demeanor vanishes as she warns them about a nasty rumor on the mountain road, telling them to be careful. This sudden, ominous warning clearly catches Ask completely off guard, and it turns out the rumor is that a self-proclaimed demon king has shown up in the area. Taking a break on the road, Ask mulls over this new info while chowing down on a sandwich. This group discusses the situation, and Ask admits he has no idea what is going on, guess he was not listening. He suddenly declares the food is delicious, getting a completely flustered reaction from Liz. His spirits immediately spill the beans. Luria woke up early to make him a special beloved wife bento. Liz demands to know why Luria did not just tell him, especially since he is clearly enjoying it so much. An explanation then pops up, showing a terrifying demon and stating any quest involving one is automatically S-rank. Ask seems intrigued, musing on the idea of an unknown species with such unreasonable strength. A brief flashback shows a mysterious woman standing before a massive draconic creature. Laughlin explains that while demons are extremely rare, a single one can rival an entire nation's power. Her expression is dead serious, hinting that this is a threat they absolutely cannot underestimate. And just then, a nearby tree is struck with incredible force, sending splinters flying. This whole party is thrown to the ground, looking up at whatever just ambushed them. Ask gets that time to go to work look ready to start the fight, and their target is a massive, grumpy-looking tree monster, the so-called forest guardian. Laughlin smugly points out she smelled it from a mile away while Liz just looks annoyed. With a yell, Ask gives the order to execute the plan they have clearly rehearsed. Liz and Laughlin immediately spring into action, charging forward as the frontline assault, while Luria unleashes an ice spell from the back, freezing the giant tree solid. This gives Liz the perfect opening to zip past its defenses, getting into striking range. She unleashes her wind dance, a flurry of slashes aimed at the frozen trunk, carving deep into the monster before it can even react to the attack. Meanwhile, Laughlin is already moving into position for the next phase of the assault, getting behind the creature to target a weak spot created by the combined attacks. With a sharp cry, she gives Ask the signal to move in for the final blow, and our boy is already on his way, sword drawn and ready to finish the job. His blade connects with a massive explosive impact, shattering the Guardian. This attack just completely obliterates the monster in a flash of light and power. Liz is impressed he can use fire magic, but Luria corrects her, that was not magic at all. This reminds Laughlin about the Demon King rumor, and she starts to panic. Ask immediately decides he is going to scout deeper into the forest alone to check things out. This girls are obviously not thrilled, with Liz pointing out that is probably where the rumored danger is. Despite their reservations, they seem to reluctantly agree to his reckless plan for now. Laughlin just calmly states that trying to stop Ask is pointless since he is going to go alone anyway. And with that, she just steps forward, leaving the other two completely stunned by her decision. She gets right in front of Ask, declaring that if he is going, then she is coming with him. Our boy's brain once again short-circuits, totally unprepared for this new development. With a determined look, she tells him she is not about to let him carry this burden by himself. A tiny, confident smile plays on her lips because her decision is absolutely final. Liz and Luria can only watch them go, asking her to tell them everything when she gets back. So Ask heads deeper into the woods, now with his spirits and a very stubborn elf in tow. This triggers a flashback to him confessing his dark past to his mother of all people. She clenches her fists, insisting his old family means absolutely nothing to her now. Looking him dead in the eye, she declares that no matter who he was, she chose asterisk him. He remembers telling her, hoping she'd understand, and asking her to wait for the full story. Back in the present, his spirits are telling him he has a great wife and should not keep secrets. Ask then changes the subject, asking his spirits a very pointed question. He wants to know what they know about the Demon King, and suddenly everyone gets serious. His water spirit explains they are a race born from the spirits of darkness, totally different from them. A quick diagram shows the great spirits come from nature, while dark spirits are born from leaking magic. Basically, these two forces are in direct opposition to one another, a classic good versus evil setup. These spirits explain that these dark spirits are super dangerous, growing stronger as life flourishes, and it seems like there is a big but coming because of course there is. But the big but is that these dark beings follow a twisted logic of their own evolution. Controlled by negative emotions and fundamentally despising all life, which is why the great spirits try to suppress them. Laughlin looks deeply concerned, but the spirit admits they have not actually found a way to stop them yet. Right on cue, a distant howl echoes through the forest, immediately grabbing Ask's attention, cutting to some creepy mansion where a voice is cackling about humans arriving to try and subjugate them. This is followed by a close-up on a seriously unhinged grin, absolutely delighted by the prospect of a fight. And it turns out the self-proclaimed Demon King is a kid with a massive axe, promising to strike them down herself.